So as you settle into a comfortable seated position, press your hands down, lift your bottom chest to your top chest, and then spread across the front of your chest, taking your shoulders back and down. So I don't wear white very often because it just seems to always catch something. But I can see, I'm reminded, let's say, of how easy it is to see instructions in white. Oh, we got someone from Venice. There you go. Here we are. We're both in Venice together doing yoga remotely. And look at it, Nigel. Oh, you guys are great today. You're like on it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to close my eyes for a moment. I'll check chat as we're moving through the class. Join your palms together. Bring your thumbs towards your chest, fingers extending towards the wall in front of you. And then close your eyes from top to bottom. We'll do the invocation together. Anyone that's not familiar with the invocation, you're welcome to just listen and absorb the vibrations of the chanting. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam shavirasya chavajakena yopakartam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjalir Anatosmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankar Chakrasidhariyam Vedam Pranamami Pata Hari Om. Lift your chest, your hands, lower your hands to your thighs, raise your head, and let your eyes open. Okay, from here, stretch your legs out. And then we're going to come into Adho Mukha Virasana. So I'm going to scoot back a little bit so you can see me when I'm on the floor. So you'll bring show from the front, you'll bring your big toes together and knees apart. You see how I'm sitting on my heels. And then reach your arms forward, extending your arms towards the wall in front of you, placing your forehead down on your mat. So as you're here, you want to, I'll now show from the side. As you're here, you're going to allow the flesh of your buttocks to release down towards your heels. You can even press your hands slightly into the floor, taking your buttocks down and bringing length and freedom to your lower back area. Spread your fingers and open your palms. Thanks, Glennis. And then start to bring your mind into a present state. So it's easy for us to think about the past, how things were, to worry about the future, how things are going to be. But let's let today's practice be an opportunity to practice radical presence. So as you catch yourself drifting into the past or jumping into the future, stay present instead. And now on an inhalation, come onto your hands and knees. On an exhalation, turn your toes under, lift your hips up, come into Adho Mukha, Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. Now, right away when you come into the pose, let your head hang. So the crown of your head is reaching closer and closer to the floor. Not that your head necessarily will touch the floor, maybe it will, but for most of us it doesn't. Now from the backs of your knees, draw your hamstrings up. From the backs of your knees, release your calves down. That may bring your heels a little closer to the floor. They don't have to touch, but for some of you they will. And then pressing the thumb side of your hands down, draw your armpits up towards your outer hips. And then once you've got that lift in your armpits, on your next exhalation, move your armpits towards your shin bones. Armpits towards your shin bones. Now from here, keeping your feet as they are, walk your hands to your feet. And then catch your elbows and extend the crown of your head down to the floor. And move a little closer. Okay, so for those of you less familiar with the pose, you may want to see. Now from here, the backs of my thighs lift up towards my sit bones, and then from the backs of the knees, I release the calves down. Now as the back of the legs divide into two parts, the front of the legs lift up. So the kneecap area lifts up. And you'll find as you work the legs correctly, your side ribs and side waist extend down towards the floor effortlessly. Now from here, I want you to place your hands beside your feet. And now's a chance for some of you to grab your blocks because you'll want your hands next to your feet for what we're doing. Okay, so I'm giving a moment. Grab a pair of blocks if you need them. I'm stepping back so you can see. So you're here, hands down on the floor or the blocks. And then step your feet together. Have your feet all the way together. Now from here, step your left foot back. Do you see how I'm light on the toe? And then press the inner edge of your right foot down and just pump your leg up. Okay? Now, I'm not pumping my leg up so much that my hip flies open, but I am letting the hip open a little bit. I'm trying to bring a sense of lightness to that leg, but I'm also using momentum. Okay? Now bring that left foot back down, come back into Uttanasana. Feel how different your legs are after that pumping action. And then step your right foot back, come onto your toes. Remember to point your toes and pump. So the first one, I didn't even go very far. That's fine. I'm just exploring. Head down, leg pumping up. Okay, just bringing a sense of lightness to the legs. And then when you've done the same amount on both sides, bring your right foot next to your left foot. Now bring your hands to your hips. On an inhalation, come up and out. Okay, so it's a lot of upside downing. Now you're going to stand with your feet apart, arms by your side, Tadasana. Catch your breath. Now work with the legs as you just did. From the backs of your knees, release your calves down. It's a lot more subtle when you're upright than when you're forward bending. And then from the backs of the knees, draw your hamstrings up towards your sit bones and then release your buttocks down towards the floor. Now, do the same actions with your feet together, and you'll feel it requires more of a balance when the feet are together. So press down. I'm just going to adjust my screen a little bit. Press down Press down on your feet. Yeah, that's better. Lift the backs of your thighs up. Release your calves down. Draw the front of your thighs up towards the ceiling. Now we'll do some standing balancing poses. So pressing the inner edge of your left foot down, raise your right leg up, holding on to your right shin. You see how I'm doing that? Now for those of you that are having a lot of trouble balancing, you can take your left hand to a wall. I'm just showing an imagine. Oh, actually, it looks like I'm pushing into that wall, but I'm not. Okay, so you use a wall if you need it. And then release your right leg down. Stand in Tadasana. Relax your jaw, throat, and tongue area. And then pressing the inner edge of your right foot down now, raise your left leg up. Again, you can take your right hand to a wall if you need the support. So you want to pull your left knee up as you drive the middle of your right thigh back. And now release your left leg down. Now I'm going to come closer so you can see. I want to show the action called Padangusta. So there's my toes. So you're going to take your first two fingers, wrap them around the side of your big toe, and then the thumb goes on the outside edge. Okay, I'm just showing from different angles. Do you see grabbing the big toe? Now I'm going to step back so you can see the whole pose, but I wanted you to see that part. So now with your feet together, eyes forward and soft, bring your hands to your hips, press the inner edge of your left foot down, raise your right leg up. Watch, my right arm goes on the inside of my right leg, and that grab of the big toe pose that I showed, that grab closer, now you want to do that. Now for some of you, if it's hard to grab your big toe, then you're going to grab a belt and loop the belt around the arch of your right foot, holding onto the belt instead. And then release your right leg down, come back to Tadasana. Hands back to your hips. Press the inner edge of your right foot down, bend your left leg, grab your left big toe. Okay, so you want to connect your fingers to the toe, and it should feel comfortable. Now, if you're using a belt, as I said, that goes around the arch of the foot, not the toe. You'll feel why. And then release your leg down, take your arms down. So we're moving towards Utthita Hasta Padangustasana. It's a standing pose that requires balance. Say it that way. So let's go back to hands on hips. Press the inner edge of your left foot down. Bend your right leg. We're going back into the stage of holding the big toe. And then the next time, you're going to see if you can straighten your right leg. If you're unable to straighten your right leg, you can have your right leg bent. So I'm going to show now from this side. So if you can straighten your right leg, you straighten your right leg. But if you can't, then I want you to keep your right leg bent, and straighten your left leg. So the left leg needs to be straight. The right leg can be straight if you're able to do it. And then release the leg down. The next round we do, I'll show with the belt. So I'm not concerned with area leg being straight this time. I'm more interested in you staying connected to the toe. Okay, Tadasana. Press the inner edge of your right foot down. Bend your left leg, grab your left big toe. And now, keeping the middle of your right thigh, extending back, straighten your left leg forward. Okay, and I'm going to show from the side. Again, the primary leg that I want you to have perfectly straight is the standing leg, not the aerial leg. If you can get both straight, that's fantastic. Okay, and then release them. Now, for those of you that weren't able to straighten the leg completely, I want you to dig up a yoga belt or anything else that can function as a yoga belt. And then I'm going to come a little closer and show what's happening. Okay, so you're here. You can double the belt. I'll scoot back and show you, but it's nice to see closely. Press the inner edge of your left foot down. Put the belt on the arch of your right foot. Do you see how I did that? And then straighten the leg. Okay, so either using a belt like I showed, or those of you that don't need a belt, then don't use one. But I'm going to demonstrate this round with the belt. Okay, so again, you're putting the belt on the arch of your right foot, driving the middle of your left thigh back, and then straightening your right leg. Now, as you're here, lift your chest up to pull the leg up more. And then bend your leg and release it down. Pause, take a couple breaths. If you have any questions, use the chat window. Let me just have a quick peek while you're recovering. Oh, nice. Everyone is leaving very nice messages. Nice to see everybody. Okay, so now let's do the other side. Tadasana, feet together. Press the inner edge of your right foot down. Bend your left leg. Use the belt around the arch of the foot if you need it. And then on an exhalation, straighten your leg, letting off on the belt as much as you need to. Now, whether you're holding the belt or your big toe, you can lift the leg up more, which will challenge your balance and challenge the spaciousness in the backs of your knees. And now bend your leg and come back to Tadasana. Okay, you can put your belt to the side for now. Take a couple breaths. Oh, aloha from Hawaii. We were just talking about Hawaii. We're hoping to get there. There's a whole group of us. Okay, so now Virasana, tree pose. It's another standing balancing pose. Most of you have probably done it before. So start with your hands on your hips. Press all four corners of your feet down. And now dynamically press the inner edge of your left foot down. This time when you bend your right leg, you're going to hold the front of your right ankle and put your foot on the inner upper edge of your left thigh, immediately drawing your outer left hip in. So see that, and then that. You can look at the white space behind me. Then from here, take your arms out to the side. Now soften and release your inner groin towards your inner knee. Roll your inner knee to your outer knee, and then draw your outer knee into your outer hip. And then hands to your hips and step down. Tadasana. Okay, now the trick is, so one of the results of us doing yoga on a computer, and I'm catching myself doing this too, is we're looking down. Okay, so if you know what I'm instructing, and I need to build this habit too, look straight ahead, or else we're going to come out of this thing, with bad posture. So stand tall. Bring your hands to your hips, eyes looking at eye level. That means I'm not looking at the screen, and I'm looking at all of you through the ether. Press the inner edge of your right foot down, bend your left leg, grab the front of your left ankle, and then press the bottom of your foot into the inner thigh, drawing the outer hip in, and then extend your arms out. So this helps with balance a little bit. It also has the added effect of spreading and opening the front of your chest. And then bring your hands to your hips and step down. Okay, come into Tadasana. Take a couple breaths there. If you're getting frustrated with standing balancing poses, instead of being frustrated, find a wall. Do you see how I have my hand on a wall? And as we continue with these standing balancing poses, use your hands on the wall. Let's see if there's any questions there. Okay. So those of you not using a wall will stay where you are. I'm going to stick here. If you have any questions about using a wall, let me know. Start by placing your hands on your hips. Press the inner edge of your left foot down. Once again, you're going to raise your right leg up. Now, go back to where we were. This time, you're going to grab the big toe like before, but you're going to take your leg out to the side. You see, it's like a continuation of Virasana tree pose. Now, as my knee goes out to the side, again, like tree pose, you want to soften and release your inner groin towards your inner knee. Roll your inner knee to your outer knee and draw your outer knee into your outer hip. And then bring the knee forward and release the leg down. Tadasana. Okay, now for the other side, hands to hips, press the inner edge of your right foot down, bend your left leg. This time you're grabbing the big toe. If you can't grab your big toe, use a belt. And then take the knee out to the side, drawing your outer right hip in. And then take your knee forward and stand Tadasana. I just saw something come up in the chat window. Take a couple of breaths in Tadasana. Oh, someone's saying hi. Oh, great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now, if you used a belt before, you may need to use a belt again. So what we're doing is we're taking Utthita Parsvahasta Padangusthasana, which is standing balancing pose. The leg goes out to the side. So you can do it with me. If you'd rather first watch and then do, of course, that's always fine. So pressing the inner edge of your left foot down, bend your right leg, reach inside, grab your right big toe. Now remember to draw that outer hip in, take your leg out to the side, reach your left arm to the side, and then straighten your right leg. Releasing your inner groin all the way to your inner heel. And then taking that right leg back. And then bend the leg and come down. Pause, take a couple of breaths. Now it's funny about standing poses, sometimes we unconsciously decide to hold our breath instead of breathing and risking the chance of not balancing. So definitely breathe when you're balancing. I'm a little out of breath because I'm really not used to practicing and teaching at the same time. I'm used to just teaching and watching, but it's fine. It's good practice to do things differently. Now with your hands on your hips, press the inner edge of your right foot down. This time bend your left leg, grab your left big toe. We're going through the steps that we did. Draw your outer right hip in, take the knee out to the side, reach your right arm out, and then extend your left leg. Excuse me. You keep going. Sorry if I throw off your balance. That happens sometimes. Now release your inner groin towards your inner heel and take the leg back. Okay, bend your leg and come down. So the struggle is, actually you're really balancing when you're struggling to balance, right? But I hope you had an easier time. Now take a couple breaths here. Now you're going to separate your legs wider than your mat, but not as wide as you can go. Take your outer feet parallel to each other. And then what we're doing here is just a wide leg forward bend where you grab your elbows. Okay, there's other poses with other names that we do. This is just forward, easy forward bend. Go ahead and soften your abdomen. Release your jaw, throat, and tongue. And then on an inhalation, come up and out. Bring your hands to your hips. Now, you're going to separate your feet slightly wider so that your outer feet are still parallel, but you're starting to feel a little letting go through that groin area that you felt in the previous poses. Now, from here, turn your left foot in, revolve your right leg out, and then turn your hips, chest, and shoulders towards your front leg. That's your right leg. We're taking Parsvottanasana. Press the outer edge of your left foot down. Take your left hand and spread the back of your left thigh from inside out. And then with your hand back on your hip, take your thumbs on the top of your buttocks, release your buttocks down to the floor, lift your bottom chest up towards the ceiling, and then on an inhalation, look up. On an exhalation, come forward, bringing your hands below your shoulders. Okay, now if you're not able to have a straight spine in the pose, then you want to use a pair of blocks. Okay, so this is the concave back stage. That means on your next exhalation, Extend your sternum plate. Extend your chest towards the wall in front of you. And then we're going to stay in this concave backstage watch. I'm going to turn my toes forward, bring my hands under my shoulders, and then turn your right foot in, revolve your left leg out. Do you see I'm walking over my left leg, but staying in the concave backstage of the pose. And then pressing the outer edge of my right foot down, spreading the back of my right thigh from inside out, and then pressing the ball of my left foot down, lifting that left kneecap up. Now I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. Inhale, come up. Exhale, turn your toes forward. Take a couple breaths here. So the pose that we're doing, it's a standing forward bend, and it requires a lot of stability in the legs. So someone asked me about how much weight there should be in the arms. Actually, the arms should not carry a lot of weight here. The legs, being the bigger limbs, should be carrying more of the weight. Okay, so we're going to do that again. We're going to take it to a different stage, a deeper stage, but you can stick to the same stage we did if it's better for you. So now turn your left foot in, revolve your right leg out, turn your hips, chest, and shoulders towards the wall in front of you. Now again, lift your chest up, look up, exhale, fold at the hips. Start by coming into the concave backstage, which some of you have done without blocks, others have done with blocks. And then bend your elbows out to the side and place your abdomen on your thigh, and if possible, take your forehead to your shin. Be there, pressing the outer edge of your left foot down, pulling your kneecaps up, stabilizing your legs. Now this time, as I go through the middle, do you see how I'm going? I'm staying in a forward bend instead of a concave backstage. Now my head's not going to come down because my legs aren't that wide. That's fine. And then I'm staying low. I'm crawling over my left leg, turning my toes towards the other direction. Again, resting my abdomen on my thigh, resting my forehead on my shin. Taking a couple breaths here. And then pressing the outer edge of my right heel down, hands go to hips. On an inhalation, stand up and turn your feet forward. Now we're going to go for Prasarta Padottanasana. So you'll separate your legs wider apart, go wide, but make sure as you go wide, you remain stable. Take the outer edge of your feet down. Lift your inner and outer thighs up. Lift your bottom just to your top chest. Look up. This time, on an exhalation, you'll either stay in the concave backstage, or some of you will go into the pose with the crown of your head all the way down on the mat. Now, as you're here in Prasarta Padottanasana, soften and spread your navel band area. Soften and spread your diaphragm band. Legs remain strong and stable. Spine, abdomen, head comes to a state of letting go. And now pressing your outer feet down. On an inhalation, come halfway up. Then, keeping your legs in a strong, stable state, drawing your kneecaps up, bring your hands to your hips. On an inhalation, come up. And then step your feet together. Tadasana. Samastiti. Feel your existence deep within. Now, hopefully, because we've been busy doing challenging poses, you've been able to keep your mind in the present moment. Now, from here, we're doing Shirshasana headstand. So those of you that are clear about headstand, just go ahead and set up on your own. Those of you that are not doing headstand, headstand's not a practice for you, then you can take your legs up the wall. And then rest your arms on the floor with your palms up towards the ceiling. Those of you that want to practice or learn a little bit more about headstand, then you can stay with me. So if you're going to practice headstand, if you're new to headstand but you want to try, then get a blanket. Okay, and you want to place the blanket on your mat. I'm going to just move the screen a little bit so everyone can see. Yeah. Place the blanket on your mat, and I'm going to show from the angle. So let me start over. So you take the folded edge of the blanket towards the front edge of your mat. Now you can imagine there's a wall here, and some of you can use a wall. So this is a wall, okay? I'm going to interlock my fingers. I'm going to come closer so you can see what I'm talking about here. So you interlock your fingers to the webbing, and then show from the back. You're going to put your hands on the back of your skull, and I'm not doing this where there's space, but I'm closing the space between the palms of my hand and my skull. Now, when you look back from the front, you want to make sure that your elbows are shoulder distance. Okay, this is too wide, this is too narrow, and this is just right for me. Okay, now, if you're still with me, go back to your blanket. If you want to put your blanket against a wall, go ahead and do that. You don't need to see me. You'll just follow along with my words. Now, you interlock your fingers to the webbing. If you're using the wall, you're going to put your knuckles right against that wall. Before you put your head down, check to make sure your elbows are shoulder distance. Now, bring your chin towards your chest. Place the crown of your head down on your blanket. Bring the back of your head into your hands. And then you can see now my shoulders are collapsing down. This is not correct. Now watch. I'm going to press my forearms down and lift my shoulders. Watch again. Press, lift. Press, lift. Okay? So I want you to keep working with that pressing, lifting action. Now I'm going to turn the other way so you can focus more on what I'm doing with my legs. And you know, some of you may just watch this time because it's a lot to take in. Or others might be following along and doing but not watching. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to where I left off. Now I want to press my forearms down, lift my shoulders up, and then watch. Turn your toes under. Lift your hips up, and then bend your legs and come down, and lift up with shoulders lifted. Press forearms down, lift your shoulders and legs up. Press forearms down, lift your shoulders and legs up. So you start to get used to how it feels to have weight on your head. Now, let me just come up so you can hear me better. You'd be better off having 90% of the pressure on your forearms and just 10% of the pressure on your head. Okay, just want to show one more variation. If you have your legs up the wall and you're getting tired, you can bring the bottoms of your feet together. Okay, just one more variation. So we're back here. For those of you looking to move towards your Shavasana, press your forearms down, lift your shoulders, turn your toes under, lift your hips up, and then you can practice kicking your right leg up, kicking your left leg up, and this should be familiar. We did something like this at the beginning of class, and this starts to bring lightness in your legs, so it's easier for you to eventually see how I'm popping up like that. Okay, now everybody come out of the pose, press your forearms down, lift your shoulders up, and then come into Adho Mukha, Virasana, downward facing hero pose. For those of you with your legs up the wall, bend your knees, roll onto your right side, and then press your left hand down. To sit up, join us in Adho Mukha Virasana. Change my angle so you can see from another angle. Okay, so from here, you're going to lift your head up and then walk your hands to the right, bringing your abdomen and chest over your right leg. So you're taking a Parsva or to the side Adho Mukha Virasana. And then lift your chest up, walk your hands back through the center, reach your arms forward, head down, and then lift your head up and walk your hands to the left, bringing your abdomen and chest over your left thigh, releasing your head down. And then one more time, walk your hands forward. See what freedom you've created by going to the sides. And then walk your hands back and come up and out. Okay, so from here, we're taking Virasana. It's a seated pose. It's not for everybody. Some of you, I'll give an alternative pose. I'll give you a couple ways of working with this pose. So excuse me as I turn around the other way. I'm going to bring my knees together, have my feet apart, and then do you see how I'm placing a block down and sitting on the block? Notice my heels are on the outside of my hips. Okay, now the block can be a taller block, a 2-block lift, or now I'm going to show from the front, same pose, but this time, do you see I put the block to the side and I'm sitting flat on the floor? That's also possible. Now for some of you who have knee issues or just basically tight thighs, what you can do instead is sit in Sukhasana. Do you see I'm showing Sukhasana? This can also be done sitting on a block. I mean, there's a lot of you in there, so there's as many variations as there are people. Okay? So that's for people that cannot do Virasana. I'm going to go back to Virasana. So you do what's right for you today. Another day might be a different idea. Now, those of you in Virasana, move your big toes towards each other and then spread all your toes away from your big toes. Place your hands on your thighs, lift your chest up and feel that lift of your chest that we really cultivated at the beginning of class. And then on an exhalation, turn to the right. Do you see how it's the back, not the front, the back of my left hand that's on the outer edge of my right thigh. And then my right hand, which you cannot see, is right behind me. It's like right behind the center line of my back body. Now, on your next inhalation, use that inhalation to lift your chest up. And on an exhalation, roll your right shoulder back. And then for those of you that would like, turn your head and look over your right shoulder. Now, turn back towards the front wall. Inhale, lift your chest up again. On an exhale, turn to the left. So I'm catching the back of my right hand on the outside of my left thigh, and my left hand, which you cannot see, is right in the center line behind me. Now, on an inhalation, lift your chest, and on an exhalation, start to turn. Turn your left shoulder back, and then for those of you that would like, turn your head and look over your left shoulder. And then turn back to the center. Now, those of you that have your legs crossed, I want you to change the cross of your legs. Okay, those of us in Virasana, optionally, you're going to come onto your hands and knees, take your left leg forward. Do you see how I did that? And then let your left leg roll out to the side. Place your left hand behind your left knee, and then pull your left foot in the root of your left thigh, Sarvangasana 2. Okay, we're just going to take this stage of the pose, checking to make sure your knee is on the floor, and then when your foot's on the thigh, do you see my foot and my ankle and my shin are one line? It's not a collapsed, it's not like this collapsed. Okay? Now lean to the left, straighten your left leg. Come onto your hands and knees. Tuck that left leg back. Swing that right leg forward, and then sit down again into the first stage of Virasana 2. Now, your right leg pulls out to the side. Let me scoot back so you can see how that foot let go. You hold behind the knee, and then bring your foot on the root of the thigh, and then adjust so that knee is all the way down. Okay, remember, if you're working with cross legs, you're just working with cross legs. You're welcome to turn if you want to. And then you're going to carefully take your leg down, straighten it, come onto your hands and knees, and then bring both legs back into Virasana. Okay, now we're going to twist. Inhale, lift your chest, exhale, and turn. Now, if anyone felt like, that was very comfortable and easy for me to have my legs in the position of Virasana 2, then you might as well keep doing it. But for many people, I know it's challenging, so I just wanted a touch and go experience today for those of you that are new. Now come back to the center. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, turn to the left. Cutting your outer left shoulder back. And then turn back to the center. From here, come onto your hands and knees. Cross your ankles. Sit back. Extend your legs forward. Tadasana. And then bend your legs. Place your feet on your mat. You're going to reach your arms, do you see, inside the legs. That same Padangushtha action that we worked with. First two fingers go between the big toe and the second toe. Thumbs wrap around the outside. Let me just turn to the side. It'll be better shown from the side. Okay, I'll come a little closer. Yeah. So I reach inside the legs, grab the big toes. Now I'm going to come to the back of my sit bones and bring my shins parallel to the floor. So it's not a full Ubaya Padangusthasana, but it's a working stage. Now my back's a little too round. So watch, I'm going to pull my arms back and move my shoulder blades forward. So that's kind of letting go and not correct. And then, so you can see. Now as you're here, you'll straighten your right leg. And then bend it and straighten your left leg. And then bend it and right and bend and left and bend. A couple more times. Right straight and bend. Left straight and bend. One more time. Right leg and bend. Left leg and bend. Okay, ready? Both legs straight. Now, once you're here, of course, you can use a belt if it's easier for you. Again, we're going to work with the arms in that manner that I showed before. So on an exhalation, draw your arms back, lift your chest up, watch, and move your shoulder blades towards your chest. Okay, for those of you that are doing abdominal work today, then you're going to take your arms so they're parallel to the floor. Now, my job is to keep my toes higher than the line of my eyes, but that doesn't mean I can look down. Got to look straight ahead. If you're having trouble here, do you see I'm showing how you can grab the backs of your legs and hang on? Or you might go like this. Well, I want to do the arm work, but I can't do the leg work. Okay, from here, cross your legs and sit down. So I want to do a couple rollings because I've been enjoying these rollings. I always enjoy the Tibetan rollings. But I want it to be something that you feel comfortable doing. So let me say this. If you have a bad neck, then I would rather have you lie on the floor with your legs bent because I don't want you to compromise your neck at all. Okay? Now, everyone else that feels ready, you can watch and see if you want to do it. We're going to do the first rollings with bent legs. It's more accessible for everybody. So you'll raise your arms up towards the ceiling. Watch. I'm going to keep my legs bent. Roll and touch the floor. And legs bent. You see, I'm just coordinating and rolling. Okay, so you can do 5 or 10 of these. Bent leg. Notice, even though I'm teaching, I'm not turning my head. You shouldn't turn your head either. And you can hear my voice, how it changes when I'm in the deep part of the pose. Okay? So once you've done 5 or 10 of those, everybody will lie on their back with their legs crossed. And I want those of you that are doing the rollings, I want you to feel how the rolling poses, the Tibetan rollings, touch your respiratory system, how your breath gets into a cardiovascular state. It's also, besides uplifting to the breath, it's uplifting overall, like our feeling of well-being. So I don't know about all of you, but for the most part, I'm doing okay with what's happening, but every once in a while, I feel in a very blue state. So what kinds of things can you reach for? Doing something like rolling around on the floor like I showed is a surprisingly uplifting effect. Okay, of course, if it's not appropriate for you, you won't do it. Now, roll to your right side, press your left hand down to sit up. Now I'm going to show the pose with straight legs. Because of my space, I have to turn the other direction, but you'll get the hang of it. Okay, so just bear with me as I turn this direction. We've got a lot of yoga. The big yoga wood props are all over there. So you reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Watch. Roll back. This time, straight legs. Do you see? I'm in a halasana state. And then keeping my legs straight, I roll forward and catch my feet. Okay, I'll show from this angle. If you know what to do, do 5 or 10 of those. Okay, so I'm showing from another angle. People need another chance to see. Roll back, touch the floor with straight legs if you can, and then roll forward and come into Paschimottanasana. Okay, so you're going to do 5 or 10 of those. And then when you have, you'll lie on your back with your legs crossed the other way. Okay, so do as many as feels right for you today. It's definitely today. It's a beautiful day. Your breathing will come back to a normal state, but appreciate that expansive quality through your lungs, how good that feels. Now from here, guessing everyone's finished up. Now from here, place your feet on the floor, and then we're taking Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, structure of a bridge pose. Any of you long-time Iyengar yoga students that know how to set up for Salama Sarvangasana, shoulder stand, you're always welcome to do that. Chair, shoulder stand, anything like that you're going to do. I'm teaching something that I know is accessible to a wide range of people, and so I will stick to what's easy for most people, and those of you with the longer practice can take what you know works for you at this juncture. So I'm showing the pose with a medium gauge block, because for most people that's fine. Nothing feels uncomfortable with the medium gauge block, but if it does, then take the block away. And then you want to straighten your legs. Okay? Now, if straightening your legs goes straight into your lower spine, then you can stay in the pose with bent legs. For those of you that feel like, okay, medium block's okay, I think I can go higher. Do you see how I brought the block up to the tall gauge, the highest point? And then I'm just looking around for a timepiece, excuse me. And then I'm going to check out where the block is, get it right in that comfortable place, right between the junction of the tailbone and the sacrum. And then I'm going to see, how does it feel to straighten my legs in this pose today? If it feels good, you'll stay. But if you're more comfortable with your legs bent, then you'll keep your legs bent. So in terms of the arc of the class, we're definitely moving towards Shavasana. So it's not really the time to push. It's really an opportunity to internalize your consciousness and start the practice of letting go. Relaxing through your jaw, throat and tongue. Focusing on your breath. Taking time to observe how your body feels now compared to when you began. How your mind, let's say where your mind is. I know where mine was when I started, and I know now. And then how your breath has responded to the practice. So if you're a cat fan, you happen to be looking at the screen, we're being photobombed by a giant Siberian forest cat. Oh, he's being shy. He's gonna perch in the corner instead of jumping up on the cushion. So anything to keep you present in the moment, right? So I caught my mind thinking about what happened earlier today, and then when my cat walked in the room, I thought, well, let me think about my cat because that's happening now. Anything is an opportunity to bring your mind into the present state. Life gives us tools to stay present. It's our job to make use of them. Now, those of you in Salamba Sarvangasana shoulder stand, you can take Ekapada if you're in the pose, you know what I mean. Those of us on the block, if you haven't already, bend your legs, place your feet on the mat. Now, if you're unfamiliar, you can come out of the pose and look. Probably you can follow along with my voice. So now, keeping your left leg bent, foot on the floor, draw your right knee towards your chest. So I'm not using my hands, but I'm just using my leg to pull that leg in. It just creates a slightly different sensation in the pose. Now I'm going to place my right foot back down on the mat and then draw your left leg in. And then I'm going to place your left foot back down on the mat. My arms haven't moved the whole time. Now once again, I'm going to draw my right leg in and then straighten my right leg up towards the ceiling. Okay, so the leg is straight. I'm not being forceful with my toes, but I am exerting effort, drawing my quadricep towards my right hip and driving the middle of the thigh back. So this is an Ekapada from Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, so we can practice that as well. And you're going to bend your right leg, bring your right foot down, pause. Now same thing on the other side. Draw your left knee towards your chest. Remember that right leg remains straight, bent. Straighten your left leg, pressing through that heel without hardening your toes. And then pull your left quadricep down, drive the middle of your left thigh back. And then bend your left leg and place your left foot down. Now the next stage some people find doesn't work for them, so you can see if this works for you. It's probably what you expect. Pull both knees towards your chest. Did you see, if you're looking at the screen, you might have seen I adjusted the block. If you're not looking at the screen, that's even better. You might need to adjust your block. So if it feels like your block's going to shoot out from underneath you, fly across the room, then you need to adjust yourself on your block. And then you take both legs up towards the ceiling, pressing through your heels. Ideally, your heels will be directly above your hips. It can be called Viparita Karni. It's an alternative inversion pose. Now, many of you have done this with legs resting on the wall. There's many ways to do it. This is a nice way, though. It only takes a block. Now from here, bend your legs, place your feet back on your block. Okay, those of you in Sarvangasana, come to Halasana. And then pressing your heels down, lift your buttocks up, lower the block, and bring your buttocks down. Just be here for a couple breaths with your hips a little lower. Let your lower spine integrate. Let this abdominal area continue to soften. And then pressing your heels down, lift your buttocks up. Now you're going to remove the block out of the way. Notice I'm taking my buttocks down, leaving my legs bent, just letting the process of coming out of the pose be a slow process. Okay. If you need to, you can very slowly and very gently draw one knee towards your chest, put that leg down, do the other knee, put that down, and then both. But if you don't need to, and ideally you don't need to, then you just be where I am, just sitting your buttocks on your mat. Now, Shavasana, straighten your right leg, straighten your left leg. Let your little toes fall away from each other. Then take your hands behind your head, lift your head up and check that your body is symmetrical on your mat. And then when you go to put your head down, extend the crown of your head towards the wall behind you so you create a little extra stretch through the vertebra of your neck. And then place your arms on your mat, palms up towards the ceiling. Relax your jaw, throat, and tongue. It's a real unique and profound opportunity to let go completely. Start to bend your arms. Place your hands on your abdomen. Bend your legs. Place your feet on your mat. Roll onto your right side. Press your left hand down to sit up. And then find a comfortable seated position. Sitting for a moment, absorbing and integrating the class we've done together today. Again, feel your existence deep within. Namaste. Have a blessed day. Stay healthy. Thanks, everybody.